Vero Nation to the Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub. Here's your host, Paul Tipton.
And we are live at Caps Pizza. Welcome to the Coach's Corner, along with Gary Parris and Lenny Jankowski. I'm Paul Tipton. Thanks for joining us as we'll head into week number 2 of high school football. Week number 1, we saw Vero Beach hosting Miami Northwestern, and it was a very interesting game, to say the least. Vero Beach comes out with the win 19-13. Two heavyweight teams going at it, and there was a lot of hype and expectation going into this game. And, Coach, it lived up to it. It was a battle all the way down to the last second.
Yeah, it sure was. It was obviously a ton of talent on the team. Anytime you get an opportunity to go against a nationally ranked team like Northwestern and come out on top, I was extremely proud of our players. It was as great an effort. I mean, there was just, when you watch it and you break the film down and you see play after play of what our players are putting into it, I think that they really rose to the occasion and came out on top and did enough to win the game.
Coach, part of that game, and I want to maybe address the elephant in the room, or maybe the zebra on the field, so to speak, there was part of that was the officiating. And it wasn't so much, all right, yeah, there were a lot of penalties called. To me, and Gary, we talked about this, it was how much time it went from penalty to penalty, the conversation about that. How does that affect you guys as far as like trying to get into a rhythm and build chemistry through the course of the game?
I think like any adversity that you face, there's always adversity in games and competition, whether it be weather, whether it be officiating, whether it be, the things that are out of your control. We got to focus on the things that are in our control, and that's what we try to do. In this case, there were penalties in the game, and the problem that I've had with some of the narrative that has taken place when you play a game of that magnitude and you come out on top and you're really pleased with how your team played and winning against. I mean, that team had as much talent as anybody will ever play. They had tremendous speed, they had tremendous size, athleticism. And although they were penalized a lot, when you watch the scheme of how they did things on offense and defense, they were coached. They had good coaches, and so I think that the only thing that I've had through these last couple of days and hearing people talk is that it's taken away from some of the plays that were made in the outcome of the game, and you don't want that to happen. But to keep our guys focused, I mean. Yeah, the flow of the game was interrupted on multiple occasions, but I don't think and we've had a chance to look at all the individual clips. The officials got the plays right. When the officials get them right, you have to applaud them for what they're doing, and you can't say, okay, I mean, we've got officials out there to do a job, and I looked at all those plays and including our touchdown that got called back. There's a reason that it got called back. So we as coaches. And I'm sure Coach Harris down at Miami Northwestern is doing the same thing. We got to get our stuff cleaned up, and so that we're better for the next week. And I think in week 1, first and foremost, in week 1, there's going to be more mistakes than in week 2. That's kind of how this thing progresses. And so at the end of the day, like I said, we control what's in our control, and all that other stuff takes care of itself.
Coach, with all that, and again, I'm like you. I want to put that behind me because I saw a lot of great athleticism out there on both sides of the field.
Right.
I saw some great offensive plays by our team.
Sure.
I saw some by theirs, and defensively, and it was really a great game. It was meant to be because you got two powerhouses.
Right.
This one, the opponent was 7-time state champion in the last 20 years or so, and here you got a program at Vero Beach that has become the talk of everybody wants to either avoid playing us or playing us. So,
right.
I mean, I thought the game itself, the athleticism, the physicality of the game was there on both sides. And when it was all said and done, Vero won.
That's right, and I think that's what we come away with it. It was a hard-fought game. Somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. Typically, the winner is excited and the loser's disappointed, and that happened. And sometimes you've got to deal with the different things that happen during a game, and we've all been there, and so we're on and past it. We're ready for Palm Beach Gardens. Like I said, there were some great things that happened in that game, and I reviewed that game, and we've been around each other long enough to know that we work hard watching film and breaking things down. I after the game was played, I watched that film over and over and over again, and watched that broke that film down more than any other game that I've played and competed in for a lot of reasons.
But again, what I like about what you're doing is on Monday, you go out and you walk through and see and talk about the things you did wrong to try to correct and figure out what.
Well, especially early in the season, there's game mistakes, and there's things that happen, that, if you get specific, you may get hit for a 3 or 4 yard loss. And if something was a little different, if a block was a little different, or, an assignment was a little different, it goes for a 40 or 50 yard gain. And so those things have to be corrected. They have to be addressed, and it's fresh in your mind. You have great example. You got, great athletes on the other side of the ball. But if it's cleaned up, there's a totally different result at the end.
Coach, your defense got 2 takeaways. Matthew Bacon was all over the field. Rivers was all over the field. One of the things that was interesting to watch was their starting quarterback, Posey, more of a kind of what you call a pocket passer, so to speak.
Sure.
But then he comes out. Strotter comes in, their number 2 quarterback. He presents a different challenge for that defense. They started to figure things out, but early on you could tell there was like, oh, this is a different guy.
Yeah, and I think, again, it speaks volumes for the talent down there. And so you have this starting quarterback that's whatever his rankings are. I don't know that off the top, but I know that a lot of people know who he is, and he's a Division I commit and all those kinds of things. And he goes down, or they take him out of the game, and then the guy that comes in is probably moving them in faster and moving the ball and doing some things that are causing us more fits and more problems than the starter was.
Right.
So. There was no rest for the weary. It was a challenge for the entire night.
Again, you had a pretty good balance on your offense from the ground game to the passing game. What did you like out of that game from your offense?
I just like their grittiness and their toughness, and I was talking about it a little earlier. And I know you're going to get a chance to talk to Tyler here in a minute, but just what we're getting from our quarterback position, in that. Tyler's a very unselfish player, and we talk about, there's a few different statistics that are important to us on offense from the quarterback position, but the number one is figuring out how to win the game, and he got that figured out, and obviously it's a team sport, but he's playing at a very high level right now, and just really proud of what he's doing. But I think all the guys, they've put their individual goals. I encourage them to have individual goals and have them, to be lofty. I want them to want to do well, but make sure they don't get in front of the team goals. And I think we got a bunch of unselfish players that go out and do what they need to do.
My question to you is, every time you took off and started running, did you go like, oh, yeah, good job?
Yeah, you know what? We've actually, Tyler and I have talked about it. It was actually one of the things that he talked about in the off season when we talk about, what does he want to do a little bit better, and he said, I want to, improve my run game a little bit. So we have some of that stuff is by design, but a lot of what happened with Tyler is, he was able to recognize in man coverage. We talked about it during the week. In man coverage, the one guy that's unaccounted for is the quarterback. So we had a couple things that we had, to get him the ball in other kind of ways. But the one thing that was most notable, when those guys are out of there and he saw a little crease, he was able to take off and find some running room.
He did a fantastic job running for you. Got some big first downs when we needed them too.
No doubt.
Absolutely. So a win over Miami Northwestern, 19-13, makes the Indians 1-0. In that game, we had our Scott Sporting Goods players of the game, Elijah Anderson and Tyler Aronson. We're going to talk to those guys when we come back.
Cap's Pizza and Pub, a proud sponsor of the Fighting Indians and Christian FM, serving Vero for over 35 years. Cap's offers Italian cuisine, including pizzas, strombolis, calzones, hot and cold subs, plus wings. A family-owned and operated business, John and his staff are happy to serve. Cap's Pizza and Pub, 725 27th Avenue Southwest, Vero Beach, 772-770-2277, or capspizzamenu.com.
Molinari Pools is a proud supporter of Fighting Indians football and Christian FM. A family-owned and operated business, the Molinari family, longtime members of this community. Joel Molinari, a former Fighting Indian, loves serving the Treasure Coast residents from pool cleaning to repairs to pool remodeling. Molinari Pools. Love people, love pools. 772-778-2633 or molinaripools.com.
Smart, stylish, fly, these are the words of Dapper. Joey's Downtown Dapper, a barbershop that provides more than haircuts. They provide a fun experience with a local flavor. Owner Joey Lucchini is a lifelong resident of Vero Beach, loves supporting local charities, youth sports, and Fighting Indians football. Joey's Downtown Dapper, 2005 14th Avenue, downtown Vero Beach, a supporter of Christian FM.
Ohana Water Systems is proud to partner with Christian FM. Hi, I'm Mikey, owner of Ohana Water Systems. We've created a technology that takes city and even well water and turn it into drinkable, pH-balanced, remineralized alkaline water throughout the entire house. Our system also protects the plumbing and appliances from hard water damage. No obligation consultations and water testing available. Online at ohanawatersystems.com.
The Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub.
And welcome back. We're at Caps Pizza for Coach's Corner. Paul Tipton. I'm joined by our Scott Sporting Goods players of the game from last week. On my right, Tyler Aronson. On my left, it's Elijah Anderson. We call him Xbox. That is his nickname. We're calling him Mad Dog. We decided last week that was your new nickname, is Mad Dog. So if he ever decides to go to the UFC, that's going to be it. It's Mad Dog Aronson over here. All right, guys. We just heard from Coach Jay talking about this hard-fought win on last Friday night against Miami Northwestern. You guys were in the game. You guys got to experience it. All right, Xbox, let me start with you. What was it like down there on the field on Friday night?
I mean, they were fast and all, but we were just keeping up with them. But they had a couple of breakout plays, and we had to, settle in and lock in. And we were stopping them a couple plays. That's it.
There was one guy that was really, really fast. He was not easy to catch, was he?
Yeah, he was fast.
He was. Tyler, you come into this game, you complete 10 passes for 158 yards, a touchdown and an interception, but it was the ground game. 14 carries, 72 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. Actually, you probably had about 5 touchdowns because on that one series, I think you got in the end zone all 3 times or all 4 times, I believe. So talk about your performance in that game.
I think, like Coach Jay was saying earlier, running was something I wanted to improve on for this season. So I feel like I was able to do that, be able to take advantage of a man. And when I saw an opening, I was able to attack it. So I was happy with that. And we were able to come out with the win. And it was obviously sloppy at times. But all in all, we were able to come out with the victory over a really good team. And we fought the whole time. And
yeah, you did. You guys did fight, and let's talk about. I mean, we kind of addressed, with the how many penalties were called, but there was a lot of time. Like once a penalty was called, there was a lot of time before the next snap happened. How did you keep the offensive unit, focused and ready to go once the ball was back in play?
I think we just had to stay positive no matter what. That type of stuff's out of our control, and we can only control ourselves. So I think we did a good job of staying positive and playing unselfishly. So, yeah.
All right, we'll come back to you in just a second. Xbox, I want to talk to you about the interception. A little tip, you end up with the ball in your hands. Talk about how that play developed for you.
I mean, I think the call was Teresa, and I was just at the right spot at the right time. Aiden and Spur pushed the dude, made him fumble the ball, and I came and picked it.
What did you guys, after the game was over with, as a defensive unit, what did you guys take away from this game? How do you feel?
I mean, feel good. We have a lot of stuff to work on and stuff, but
yeah, it's a never-ending process, right? I mean, you hope, as Coach says, you get better every day, right?
Yes, sir.
Be better the next day, and so you figured out some things in this game. You saw some things maybe that were mistakes, and you can correct and get ready for the next game because we got the Garden Gators coming this Friday. So you guys are ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
All right, I expect none less. Tyler, one on your runs, you got into the end zone, took a pretty hard shot in there. But you bounced up pretty quick. Was it a hard shot, or did you say, it's all right?
It is what it is. It's all in the moment. And I just wanted to show them it didn't really affect me, and it's just part of the game. So I just had to move on from it, and whatever happened. So.
All right, my friend. Well, it's a pleasure to have both of you. Congratulations on being our players of the game from last week. And good luck for this upcoming game this week against the Garden Gators.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right, that's Tyler Aronson, Elijah Anderson. We'll have more of Coach's Corner at Cap's Pizza right after this. Cap's Pizza and Pub, a proud sponsor of the Fighting Indians and Christian FM, serving Vero for over 35 years. Cap's offers Italian cuisine, including pizza, strombolis, calzones, hot and cold subs, plus wings. A family-owned and operated business, John and his staff are happy to serve. Cap's Pizza and Pub, 725 27th Avenue Southwest, Vero Beach, 772-770-2277, or capspizzamenu.com.
The safety of young athletes is priority one. Professionals at Vero Elite Rehab and Orthopedic Surgery are the official physicians for Fighting Indians sports. We thank them for helping make this broadcast possible. They offer care in orthopedics, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. More at prosportsandeleterehab.com.
Christian FM thanks Parris Family Chiropractic for their support. Dr. Matt Parris is a longtime resident of Vero Beach and a former quarterback for the Fighting Indians. Just like our Fighting Indians work hard for the win, Dr. Parris works hard for a patient's well-being. From proper alignment to good nutrition, Dr. Parris helps patients achieve the win. Parris Family Chiropractic. When the spine is in line, everything is fine. 299-4649 or ParrisFamilyChiro.com.
Geno's Nutrition Shop carries a wide selection of safe supplements for athletes no matter their age, especially regular gym goers. I'm Geno, and we love supporting the Fighting Indians. Our supplements work for muscle recovery, hydration, focus, immunity health, along with grab-and-go meals. At Geno's Nutrition Shop in Miracle Mile, our customers are family.
HBS Glass is a proud supporter of Fighting Indians Athletics and Christian FM. Since 1973, HBS Glass has served homeowners, architects, and contractors in the Vero Beach area. HBS Glass offers hurricane impact windows and doors. HBS Glass, 722 3rd Place or hbsglass.com. Thanks to HBS Glass.
The Coach's Corner, presented by Cap's Pizza and Pub.
Jankowski and Paul Tipton, thanks for joining us here. Hey, we always want to hear from you, and maybe you got some questions you'd love to ask any of us, especially Coach Jay here. You can do that. You can send us an email, vnncomments@gmail.com. That's vnncomments@gmail.com. And near the end of the season, we're going to do a drawing. So if we use your question, you're going to be a part of that drawing, and we'll get you a family dinner. Compliments of Cap's Pizza. All right, Coach. So Donna is asking with our kicking game. You got any concerns about our kicking game?
I've got concerns about all three phases of our game. But yeah, of course, our kicking game, we were 1 of 3 on extra points, and that obviously there's a lot involved there. It's not just the kicker. There's a snapper, a hold protection, all that kind of stuff that, I think is the obvious. But yeah, I mean, we've got we had a situation there at the end of the game where their return guy fair caught the ball, and we didn't see it or didn't recognize it. And then that could have cost us. That was at a critical time in the game. We had a situation where and you guys have seen this before, where we punt the ball out of an offensive formation and we didn't cover it very well, and so some things like that in all the kicking game, we've got to improve. That's been a big point of emphasis, obviously this week because of some of the mistakes that were made. But it's been a big point of emphasis throughout the preseason and in the summer. And as I tell our players and our coaches alike, I mean, I feel like we should gain an advantage on special teams in the kicking game. We've got good players, we've got good numbers, we've got good depth. We've got to take pride in special teams and understand that it's a big part of the game. We've all been on different sides of winning and losing games that come down to those situations. So to answer, is it Donna?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donna, I'm concerned about our kicking game.
Thank you, Donna, for that question. All right, Coach, week 1 is done. Now it's week 2. It's Palm Beach Garden Gators. They lost to Atlantic in week 1, 21-14. What's the scouting report?
Well, I've told our players this as well, that I think Palm Beach County has turned into kind of the haves and the have-nots, as far as football programs go down there. And Palm Beach Gardens is in that top tier category. They're one of the better teams in Palm Beach County. They'll come in with an 0-1 record because they're playing another team from Palm Beach County that is one of the top tier teams in Atlantic. And it came down to a last play of the game where Atlantic ended up winning that game 21-14. What stands out about Palm Beach Gardens is their defensive talent. They've got a lot of team speed. They've got a really good scheme on defense. They do some different things, bring pressures from different parts. I think the back end of their defense, their secondary is a strength for sure. They've got some good guys on the D-line. So it's a challenge. Offensively, they've got good players. Some of those same skill guys that they have on defense will rotate in there on the offensive side of the ball. So I think that speaks for their athleticism and their talents there. They've used two different quarterbacks, both create some problems for whoever their opponent may be, specifically us. So we've got some things, and as I've talked to our players about, and we worked pretty hard on Sunday as a staff. We've got a challenge this week. We've got to put all that talk and all that business with Northwestern, to bed, and we're pleased where we are, but it is a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
And we set out at the beginning of the season not to just get better every week, but to get better every day. And I think that's very cliche-ish, but it's accurate, and we've got to do that. So
I like that. Mike, it's harder for me to say, but the cliches.
He likes cliches.
Cliches.
You didn't know that.
Yeah, he's good
like
at
that
cliches. I've heard some.
Yeah. Coach, obviously a lot of Floridians right now are paying attention to a storm that's out in the Gulf.
Right.
I don't really want to pay too much attention to it because I don't want to jinx ourselves. But has the weather at all been a factor for practice this week?
I don't know if it was storm related yesterday, but we were chased off the field with our friend, the lightning meter. And so we were chased off yesterday. Today we actually beat that, whatever that squall was that came through. We beat that. We finished before that came through, and we got it in. There were some dark clouds there at the tail end of practice. Who knows what tomorrow brings? We're just taking it day by day and hoping for the best. I told our players after practice today that whatever it would be, if we were in school and we were going to figure out something to be productive and get it done. The one thing that we do have going is we've got a JV game tomorrow, so hoping that we can get that in. It's always difficult to get a junior varsity game made up and rescheduled, so we're hoping that happens. So we'll see there. And then hopefully this thing, if it's making its way through Florida, that it's in and out of here and we're good for Friday. So we'll see.
No kidding.
Well, that's, every school in this time of the year, you start thinking toward the end of August, September gets here. That's the peak of the storms. Whether you're in college, I know that Florida left today to play Utah, so they get that extra, they could get out of the storm's way for tomorrow. And so we, like UCF plays Kent State, and Kent State plans on coming down Wednesday as the storm passes through there. So everybody's hoping, and that's part of the game. I like what you said. There are segments and elements of the game that you're not aware. You're aware of it, but you don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
You don't know when it's going to rain.
Right.
That one game, the first game we played, the preseason game, it rained the first quarter.
Right.
I mean, you didn't panic. You don't panic. You just adjust. And like you did the other night, different schemes, different things, you adjust to make play calling, to make your team a better team on the field.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It just comes down to controlling what you can control and try to, occupy your brain power with that stuff and let the other stuff take care of itself. Because it really and truly, it's out of your control. So why spend much time thinking about it? Try to prepare, the best that you can for all the different obstacles that could come your way. But at the end of the day, keep it moving and control what's in your control.
Coach, after this game, you've got a bye week, an open week. Wasn't the original plan on the schedule, but now in your third week, you'll have an open week. A little different than what we've seen over the last couple of years. You generally have them at the end of the season. So how does that change your overall plan or strategy for the season?
I don't know if it's some kind of subconscious thoughts or whatever, but it just seems like whenever that bye week falls, you can take advantage of it, and so as as you know, we're preparing for this week. I mean, it's full steam ahead for this week and whatever we got to do. But I mean, it's been a grind up to this point. You know, we've been through, you know, a lot. I feel like the practices have all been very productive. Our kids are working really hard. So, you know, we'll hopefully, you know, have a great game Friday night and have a reason to work through some things. I'm sure there will be some areas to improve on and some segments of the game that we'll focus on. Try to continue to get kids healthy and be ready to go that following week.
You bring up a good point there, Coach, because it's like 5 hard weeks. You got 3 weeks to get ready for your opening kickoff classic, and then you got 2 weeks ahead. That's 5 grinding weeks of football, and you got a chance now. I don't know. I mean, I've never had a bye week this early, but I'm thinking, you know, after 5 weeks, that's not a bad thing to have right now, maybe.
I mean, you really just have to throw a positive twist on, and again, I think we can benefit. You know, there will be things that we'll be able to do and work guys. You know, we've talked about a couple different guys that are two-way players. We'll give them an opportunity to work on another side of the ball. We'll be able to, you know, continue to work at our depth and get guys reps. And again, I think the big thing right now is keeping guys healthy and getting them healthy. So, you know, it's important for us to have guys ready to play on Friday nights and be healthy and have fresh legs and do all that. And that's really difficult to do sometimes with the grind of practice.
All right. Well, Friday night, we've got the Garden Gators at the Citrus Bowl. Game time is at 7 o'clock. Our coverage will begin at 6 p.m. with countdown to kickoff. I'd love to see you there at the stadium. You can buy your tickets. You go to ticketspicket.com to get your tickets, and I'd love for you to be there. And as always, we love having Vero Nation show up in full force, so make sure to be there this Friday night, 7 p.m. Gary Parris, Coach Jankowski, I'm Paul Tipton. This has been the Coach's Corner. As always, go Indians.
Thanks for watching the Coach's Corner, presented by Caps Pizza and Pub.